a man who absolutely changed football forever. A guy who has a documentary right now on
Amazon Prime
that you should watch called Bye Bye Barry. That is a nice reminder not only of how sick he was at football, but also the entire story and everything he did and how he handled everything has been nothing but first class. Ladies and gentlemen, probably the greatest football player of all time, former Detroit Lion, Hall of Famer, Barry Sanders.
Let's go.
Barry, how are you, pal?
I'm doing great, man. Thanks for having me. How are you guys doing?
Dude, we're pumped, Barry. Like, we understand that the Wichita, Kansas thing happened one of the last times you were on when we were talking about Bye Bye Barry.
Yep.
And we appreciate the autograph and the send over here. And we understand that your Detroit Lions now are champions for the first time in 30 years. A lot has happened in the last few weeks since we've chatted. How about this Detroit Lions team? How pumped are you for them? And what do you think this means for the future of the Detroit Lions, Barry?
Oh, I'm so excited, man. Like so many Lions fans, and you know, I feel like coming into this season, certainly there was great just anticipation as to what this team would be. I think they met those expectations from fans. I know that you know, obviously we got a big one this weekend in Dallas. Looking forward to handing the Cowboys their first loss at home this season.
Going into Jerry World.
But
I love that. You know what else I love, Barry? And I'm sorry
What's
I didn't get a chance to listen to everything you were saying there. As soon as we were on full screen on you, saw one of the sickest things of all time over your right shoulder. Is that that's on the side of a building? What is this? You're in a Zoom right now. Where is that portrait on the side of a building at?
What?
well, it was on the side of a building in downtown Detroit for several years. They're like late 90s, early 2000s. So
that's
what that is an image of.
Hey, you are always, because you retired early in everybody's eyes, could have gone on to play. But I feel like your relationship with the Lions has always been good. That's good. Is that true? Is that how you see it? And what do you think of the current structure of the Lions with Sheila Ford Hamp and Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell? How is it different from maybe previous regimes that maybe you've been around, or have you not been around as much as you are now?
Yeah, well, I'm around much more now. When I first retired, things were probably a little bit icy. But no. Currently things are great. We're excited what Coach Campbell has been able to do, what Brad Holmes has been able to do, and all led by Sheila Ford Hamp, as you mentioned. And they've constructed just a great team that we're proud of, that we've known can do exactly what they've done this year. So, but yeah, I think everyone's excited. Even from day one, people were excited about having Coach Campbell there, just his attitude, his approach, and what he's been able to get out of these players.
Yeah, I think ever since he said he wanted to gnaw kneecaps off whenever he's getting up, I loved him. But there wasn't that narrative everywhere. A lot of people thought he was a buffoon. But it feels like him, Spielman as well, right? Wasn't he a part of the entire rebuild? And let's do this. They wanted like Lions.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? They wanted like, hey, we want Detroit Lions to be a certain type of way. And I think a massive piece of this is, you say you're around a lot more now. Calvin Johnson is as well. It feels like they're doing it all right? It feels like the Lions are doing everything right in what it could be for so long. And it's obviously everybody's reaping the benefit of that on the field as well. It feels like everything's going good. Right, Barry? Everything.
No, absolutely. Absolutely. And I think you look at the end of the first season with Coach, where they didn't win a lot of games, but the guys played hard. I think they won the last 3 games. Then you look at last season, where at the end of the year, I don't think anyone wanted to see us. We went into Green Bay, knocked them out of the playoffs, still and finished above 500. And so it's really been building to this point, and so yeah, we're just excited about how things, because really winning organizations, that's something you have to design. That's something you have to build and put all the right pieces together. And they've been able to do that.
Go ahead, AJ.
Barry, it talks about now, you hear coaches say, like, how do you handle success? Like, some coaches like being able to coach through losses. It's easy to be hard on them and keep the guys kind of motivated. Now, don't you think the Lions are kind of at this spot where, hey, they set the standard, this is who they are moving forward? How do you think they handle success, and how do you think the whole city around them will handle that success that, hey, we're expected to win games now going into them?
Oh, well, I think from a player standpoint, obviously success is something that you should expect. And I think that's one thing that coach has really instilled in this team is expecting to win. You see some of these games that they've been able to win, in years past, they probably would not have been able to win a lot of those same games. So you expect it. This is this is a competitive league. Whenever you're on top, people are gunning for you. People want to know, how legitimate are you? And I think, this team has to obviously prove that this weekend. But it's certainly a mindset that you take into every practice and every game. But it's something you have to expect and anticipate because that's why you play the game, and that's the only way really to be successful.
Yeah, you earn that pressure, right? That's what everybody says. There's potential massive pressure coming right down the pipe. AQ Shipley has a question for you, old Barry Sanders.
Yeah, Barry. So if the Rams come into Detroit in the playoffs, what do you think that atmosphere is going to be like, and what do you think the crowd reaction is going to be to Matthew Stafford coming back home?
I think it's going to be hard to contain the excitement of Lions fans. I promise you, having a home playoff game. I think they'll be fairly cordial to Matt Stafford. I think we appreciate his time as a Lion. We're glad he had a chance to go win a chip a few years ago. So I think generally speaking, people respect him, but in a scenario like that, obviously he's coming in as an opponent, and the fans are going to go absolutely berserk with a home playoff game at Ford Field. I promise you.
The thought of, remember he said, what did he say? We're the fire, you're the kindling, man.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Remember he said that for a spring practice that they had open to the crowd down at Ford Field. And his message to the crowd was like a motivational speech to the crowd and what they wanted to do. And it's like now Detroit is all the way. How many sellouts were straight there? And then it stopped because there was doubt and a lack of faith. But then great football town, always has been. Now they got a reason to talk their shit, which is good news. Because if this season was only remembered for that Jack Harlow halftime Thanksgiving performance,
boy,
that would have been a damn shame. But instead, we're talking about the brand new Lions. Obviously, Barry, you know Foxy. Foxy has some things to say to you.
Yeah, Barry, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure you were part of the process in hiring Motor City Dan Campbell along with Sheila Ford Hamp and Spielman and all that. During that process, first off, thank you. You got the right guy, obviously. But during that process, what'd you learn about MCDC, and what'd you see that said, hey, this is our guy for Detroit?
Well, yeah, the way it really happened is, Chris Spielman, Sheila, and Rod Wood, they were pretty much in Brad Holmes, Sheila Ford. Those were really the personalities who made the decision. I was kind of in on some of the conversations. And really, Chris was looking, and the group was kind of looking for someone with, who could really lead the team, who they feel like young players or players in general could respect. And who had a winning mentality, and so those were kind of some of the conversations, some of the things that we were talking about during some of those meetings.
We showcased his press conference when it was announced he was the head coach, and then some of the responses, it was like, and then they go 10-1, right?
Yes.
And then they win and he cries.
Yep.
It's like Dan Campbell, like when they think outside the box, it's like from a head coaching standpoint, it's like, there's a box, you go outside of it, and then you got to hop in one of Elon Musk's rockets.
That's right.
Then you got to go out of the stratosphere, and then you got to go outside of that as well. Whenever you think about what head coaches normally are, how they normally speak, how they normally act, what they're supposed to say, how they're supposed to say it, it's like he was one of one from the beginning. They go 10-1. There was a lot of people saying, here we go again. But it sounded like, and you said Chris Spielman's name first, it's like we knew exactly what we were getting into. They've been patient with it, which not in the past has certainly been something with Detroit.
Right.
It's like this feels like a good football program.
Oh, yeah.
It feels like they're making all the right decisions. And a lot of people say it's because Peyton and that guy from Dumb and Dumber,
Yep, Jeff Daniels.
they went into a tub of, I think it was jungle juice in the middle of Ford Field, and they got rid of all the things that were, all the curses. Right, Foxy, you know what happened?
Yep, the Bobby Lane curse. I believe that was a tub of whiskey. Yep, and that's never been the same since.
No, jungle. A little lighter than jungle juice.
Whiskey's in jungle juice.
Nonetheless, congrats to Detroit not being cursed anymore, seems like. D-Bud has a question for you, Barry.
Yeah, first of all, Pat mentioned earlier, but thank you once again for my personalized post. It was awesome in the man cave. This year's MVP race kind of been going back and forth with the favorites. I saw you respond to fellow Hall of Famer Shannon Sharp and say, hey, it's going to be a quarterback award. They made me split it back in '97 with Brett Favre. You still feel that way? And who would be that quarterback that would potentially split it with CMC, in your opinion?
Oh, well, I would say you look at, Dak's having a great year. Jalen Hurts is having a solid year. Brock Purdy is having a solid year. I think, I may be forgetting someone.
Lamar Jackson.
Lamar Jackson, obviously, yeah. That's what I was forgetting, yes. So I think in either one of those four, you could throw their name in that hat.
You didn't care at all about any of that? Or what, you were pissed when they give you the co-one? How did it? Because, you did remind people, like, hey, just a reminder. No, I'm much older now. Still got it if you need it, one play probably. One game. I would assume, how you think 10 plays, first down, one series? What do you think right now the body could go if it had
10 plays? I think with this Lions offensive line, give me between 10 and 15.
Ooh!
Oh, hell yeah.
10 and 15 touches, Barry Sanders.
I watched the doc, and I couldn't believe they had you on the sideline for that first. Like, what was that? Did you miss training camp? Why were you on this? I think it was the Cardinals, your first game. You got in at some point, but because you couldn't imagine that right now in today's NFL. But how did they keep you on the sideline for so long, and why? What was the reason behind that?
No, because I signed the week of the first game, so I missed all the training camp.
Got you.
So that's why that happened like that. It wasn't like any kind of a punishment. I just, I hadn't been able to get the playbook or anything like that. So I signed really late.
I didn't know the play. I told him, you just tell me right, left. We can figure this whole thing out, but they wanted at least a week, for me to start the NFL. And we got a chance to see in that documentary. And then who's Zito? Who's Barry's got? Great. Your guy's a good guy.
JB Bernstein.
Is that the name? Yeah. Great. Very, very active. Sends us stuff like, hey, this is happening. Good. And then we saw your college football stats. And went through like that 1 year, the amount of yards you had in every game. And there's one game they held you to 150 yards. Yep. You must have been sick. Yeah. You must have been sick. I don't know. But this guy went for like 250, 300 yards. Right now, I guess, 35th anniversary of him at the Holiday Bowl, where he went for 222 yards and 5 touchdowns.
Oh, okay.
So you not playing that first game, I assume all of Detroit was like, every time we've seen this guy play football, he's better than everybody else. Why do you think, here we go, Barry Sanders, highlight from college.
My God.
See ya. Running so fast that nobody could touch you ever.
Nope.
You get in the NFL, it's the same exact thing. Was there any, when you get to the NFL, because I'm at the age that we just know you 10 years, 10 Pro Bowlers, 10 All-Pros. They see you later.
Yep.
Basketball time. All we see is highlights. Was there down games? Did you have down games ever? Is that something that happened? That's a real question. That is an actual, you woke up, you know what, not feeling it today.
Yes,
not able
I think it happened.
You think it happened?
I think it happened occasionally, yeah, for sure. It's nice. That's a nice thing about where I am, being retired and in the Hall of Fame. They only pretty much show highlights. And they don't really show the lowlights, but there are a few. We lost a few tough playoff games and things like that that I can think about. In Green Bay, lost the home game to Brett Favre in the playoffs. But we don't need to dive into that.
No, I agree. I just want to let you know your highlight reel has spanned my entire life pretty much, and every time it's a new play. So it's like, what a weapon you were. Speaking of weapons, Detroit has one. Ty Schmidt has a question for you.
Yeah, Barry, obviously not the same situation when you got drafted, but I feel like this year when Jahmyr Gibbs got taken with that premium pick, a lot of Lions fans, at least early in the season, were kind of saying hey, we're not seeing this guy as much as we want to. David Montgomery was kind of the bell cow. But then down the stretch here, getting ready for the playoffs, it seems like he's kind of taken the lion's share, the carries and touches and things like that. And he's obviously added a major new dynamic to their offense. Have you been impressed with the way they've kind of decided to use his usage now? Because it seems like, he doesn't have all those extra miles on his tread, going into the playoffs now, and he's firmly kind of in that position where he's expected to make a massive impact, week in, week out.
Oh, for sure. I mean, I think they just kind of wanted to start him off slowly, and work him in to certain situations. But from day one, I mean, he's shown that sort of burst that we see. I think he's either just clipped 1,000 yards or on the verge of clipping 1,000 yards. But the kid has the kind of burst that you just don't see, and it's really transferred to this level and to the NFL, and really with all the other weapons, it's just really accented what he does. But every time he gets the ball, it looks like he's going to do something exciting, and he's just been a great addition, and really met with everyone's expectations and hopes for being drafted that high.
Ben Johnson too. What a weapon. You know what I mean? Feels like he gets it whenever they need it. They have something. Yeah. Seems like. Ben Johnson has an answer. And it's like some coaches, offensive people, I think they run out creativity by the year's end or whatever. They get scared to do something. Ben Johnson always has something, feels like.
Always an answer.
Always. And when they need it, you see it. And they'll hold it too.
Yep.
Very patient play caller. I feel like he's a guy that's obviously going to get a lot of gigs, but Jahmyr Gibbs, when he gets going, he's fun, dude.
Yeah.
He is fun to watch play football. Go ahead, AJ.
Barry, when you watch defenses kind of attack ball carriers these days, you watch them like guys are coming up throwing monster punches at these guys trying to get the ball out. It seems like sometimes sacrificing their body trying to get the ball out. And I think that's something that's pretty new over the last 5-10 years, I believe. It seems like guys are doing that more and more. Was that happening at all when you were playing, and would that change your running style if that was kind of like how it's going today?
I think you certainly have to be just more aware of it as a runner that they are attacking they're attacking the ball, and defenses are trying to not just get you to the ground, but get a turnover, what have you. And so I think so. Yeah, it probably would change it to some degree, just being more conscious of it. And that's something, and obviously even in practice, something that you rep and think about, because guys are definitely, and it's, it's certainly making a difference. I think you see probably more turnovers because of that, and defensive coordinators are really teaching that to their guys. So it's something you got to be aware of.
Yeah. Darius Leonard used to do this every game. He would come flying in. Peanut Tillman obviously started this entire thing. I think he's an FBI agent now.
Yes, he is.
Shout out to him, serving the country. We appreciate him doing it. Fair. And also becoming a guy who does the punch out. And then, it became a very Darius Leonard did at least 6 attempts a game.
Yes.
And it's like full body. You're talking about them working it. Full body punch. And that ball would come out a lot.
Marlon Humphrey.
Shaq Leonard was going for it the other night a lot.
Yeah.
He's going to
They're not doing that.
You missed though.
They're not doing that.
You missed though. It's like knocking dudes' wind out too. Imagine how many shots you're taking if you're not hitting the ball and you're catching in the ribs, you're knocking the wind out. It takes its toll, I think, on runners.
Well, and for the puncher though too, you miss. That's a helmet. That's an elbow. Just like in it's a great. I love that.
If you run back the tape though of 20 in Detroit, it wasn't too many guys in position to.
They weren't close enough.
You just try to get some claw.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. He actually has an NFL record, I've just been told, of most amount of carries without fumble, like 803 or something.
Boom. Who would have thought?
Hell yeah.
Barry, you ain't giving away the fucking program. No, you ain't getting this. You put the ball in my hands. I am going to make sure we have it for the next play. And then once you score a touchdown, by the way.
Boom.
There you go. Done this a lot.
Why? Because you were just, what are we talking about? Score a touchdown. Cool. Yeah, I could have ran further. This thing stopped me. So I don't know what we're doing. You always just handball to the official guy? Like even in high school, everything like that? That was just move?
Yeah, it was. It was. Just,
never once did you. I'm better than you. I'm better than you.
What?
I just cooked both of you. You're down. You're still out. You suck. You should be on the field. Not one time because you are referenced by everybody. Barry Sanders used to just hand the ball to the official. I mean, that's what he used to do. That's what you should
Everybody says it.
Everybody says it across the entire country. Was there ever a time where you were, like I'm Barry Sanders? Was there ever that ever happened?
Hey, for me, it was more of a thing of, I just did my job, and there's actually more to do. I want to get here a few more times, so I'm not going to get too excited about getting here, once or twice. I mean, so there was always more to do, more to accomplish, and when you get to the end zone, for me, the job's been done.
By the way, Holiday Bowl 35 years ago, 222 yards, 5 touchdowns.
Oh, that's it.
He has 3 touchdowns in a bowl game, right? Huge deal. He's like, what? What are you talking? We got 2 more quarters. We got 2 more quarters. 5 touchdowns.
It's crazy. Same draft. You got Deion Sanders, who's on the complete opposite end of that spectrum.
Yeah,
He
but
gonna
also,
high step 40 yards out.
yeah. Did you ever? I never even thought about
It's crazy.
maybe. No, obviously not. Obviously not. That's why you are who you are, and we are who we are. Just absolute dipshits. You're a legend, man. We appreciate you joining us. Congrats to your Detroit Lions. The Prime doc is awesome. I don't know if you've gotten a chance to watch it or how you would treat that, but it is fantastic. You're a good dude. The NFL's lucky that it had you.
Man. No, I appreciate it, man. Thank you. Great to be here, and I'm glad to be here with DirecTV Holiday Bowl, celebrating my 35th anniversary of playing the game. It's hard to believe it's been that long ago, but thanks for having me on again, and let's do it again soon.
Yeah, you got it. And also, let's get this thing back on a building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Let's get this thing back on a building. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. You look good, Bear. You look good. Can still give you 10 to 15 snaps if you needed them. Ladies and gentlemen, Hall of Famer, Barry Sanders.
Yeah, Barry!
All right, Barry. See you, buddy.